From Houston, Texas, and around the world. It's time to get your champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. Now, can you dig that?
Boom! Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. They call him the BOAT. We get ready to do this thing, man. I want to thank everybody for stepping inside the Hall of Fame, getting your champagne wishes and caviar dreams, man. But I'm gonna tell you, I feel good. I feel real good. I woke up this morning on the right side of the bed. Let's just say that. How you feel, dog?
I woke up on the right side of the bed too. It's been a great day. Monday, the Cougars in the championship game.
Man, can you believe it?
Comeback of the century, baby.
And nobody thought about what, down 14, right?
14.
Come back and take the whole damn thing and boom, punch their ticket, man. Man, we might be able to make up for what Fire Slammer Jammer couldn't get done, man. And I'm telling you, bro, I'm excited about this team, man, because they done it quietly. They did it quietly, bro. I mean, they just stepped in there and they just stepped up and got the job done. Didn't think about anything other than the task at hand, and man, and they there, man. It's amazing, really is.
I will say the players are excellent, but this is also a testament to the system and the coach. You know, I really do believe that Kelvin Sampson has a way of really getting these players to believe in themselves, believe in the process, not give up, and be able to go out there and pull up the upset. Everybody had Duke winning that, and it looked like they were going to win. Looked like they were going to win. For the entirety of the game, they were playing better than the Houston Cougars. But what happens is not what happens at the beginning, middle, or toward the end of the game. What happens is the end result. And Houston, they went out there and did it. They went out there and did it. Now, tonight they're going to face the Florida Gators. By the time a lot of people are hearing this, we'll know the result of that. But getting there is a win, man. And Houston basketball overall, Rockets 2 seed in the West.
Yeah. We
shut down the Warriors last night. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man.
I tell you, man, I'm serious. Rockets playing some hell of ball too, man, and they're doing it quietly too. I mean, that team, like a bunch of guys that, like, nobody's like a star, but everybody, but all players. You know what I mean? Everybody know their position. Everybody going out there and, like I said, reality wrestling, just do your job. You know what I mean? At the end of the night, we would have a great night if everybody just do their job, and that's what Rockets doing right now, man. Big ups to that team, man. Big ups.
Yeah, I'm excited, with Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet, Ahmed Thompson, Jalen Green, the coaching, Ime Udoka. Again, that's another, Kelvin Sampson, Ime Udoka, two guys who know what the hell they're doing when it comes to coaching. And, I'm hearing some offseason rumors that Durant's looking at coming to the Rockets, and I'm like kind of half in, half out on that.
Why is that? I mean, look here. You wasn't half in, half out on James Harden.
James Harden also, back in the 2019 season, when we had 65 wins, was putting up 40 points a game average back in January.
Let's not go down.
People were trying to invent strategy.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole again.
I remember they did a whole segment with Tracy McGrady and Scottie Pippen on ESPN with them talking about how they would guard James Harden because he was unguardable. You have people guarding him from behind. When have you ever seen that before? People guarding this man from behind. I'm not talking about James Harden now.
I would say, he was.
I'm talking about James Harden now.
No, the guy was great at getting himself over. All right, I've said that many times. if it was an award for that, he would get it every damn year. Trust me on that. Seriously. So now
it's funny, man. You know what? Some people need to take a note from James Harden. Some people don't know how to get themselves over. You know what I mean? Some people just don't know how to do it. You know what I mean?
You know what? Let's get the elephant out of the room. Everybody going to be expect to be. Let's rewind. I woke up this morning and I'm wondering, why is my name trending? Why is my name all over the social media? And then I see the video of Swerve Strickland, saying F Booker T at the end of what was it?
Dynasty.
The AEW pay-per-view. And you know what? I'm not gonna even get upset about that or anything like that. But I'm gonna give Swerve Strickland a little bit of advice, just a little bit. And that advice would be, don't be talking about something other than the pay-per-view at the end of the night. You know what I mean? That's the main event. That's the last thing people are going to remember. Last thing people remember is me, Booker T, my name being said. And I'm sure if Tony Khan really don't appreciate the news, the headline not being what happened at Dynasty, and with all the matches, hopefully with the great card, with all the great card, all the great matches. But they're talking about Booker T. That just was a bad move. It was a bad move. And there again, you know, he's got a lot of energy, you know, at the end of a show, but I'm not that type, man. I'm from that school. You know, if you got something to say to somebody, you say it in their face, you say it to their face. And, you know, I'm going to leave it at that. You know what I mean? Hopefully Swerve Strickland will have a hell of a career. Hopefully he'll do very, very well in this business. But I'm going to keep stressing what I've been talking about for a long time as far as black folks, you know, especially in the company that I work for. Man, go out there and get it on your talent. Go out there and get it on your merit. Nobody will ever be able to take it away, and no one will ever be able to say you got it because of only for your talent. That's it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to keep advocating for young guys, you know, to go out there and perform at the highest level. Take what you want, because it's not going to be given to you. You got to take it. And the only way you're going to be able to take it is, you know, through your performance, how good you really are inside the square circle, you know? So that's as much as I'm going to say on that issue as far as Swerve Strickland goes.
Well, I think that that's a beautiful response. And, you know, I saw the video as well. And you know what? I'm gonna follow your lead book, and I'm gonna keep it classy too. But I have a lot of thoughts and opinions on it. But to me, you know, man, if you have something you want to say, you say it to a man's face when you have an opportunity. And if you have an opportunity to say it to a man's face and you don't, and you say it behind his back, or when you think you're going to get clout from it, there's a word for that. There's a word for that. You know what I mean? There's a word for the way that is portrayed and the way somebody acts. You know what I mean? I'll let people fill in the blank on what that word might be. You know what I mean? But Booker T, you know, you're at the Walker Texas Lawyer Arena this Saturday. You know what I mean? If somebody's got something to say to your face, you can say it there. I'll say it to somebody's face if they want to show up. You know what I mean? Somebody will show up, I'll say it. You know what I mean? Because after that display, I feel pretty good about handling myself.
You know what though, man? The one person that's laughing, you know, is Vlad TV. He's the one that's laughing, you know, because he got all this stuff, you know, started and stirred up. And now Swerve Strickland, you know, I thought this thing was over with. I really did. I swear to God, the last thing I thought about was waking up this morning to an FU. You know,
he saw he did it too. He like snuck it in there, dropped the mic, got the hell out of the ring.
I mean,
There's a word for the book. There's a word for that. I don't know what the word is, but there's a word for that. Somebody will tell me.
No, man, it's just this generation, man. This generation. Like I say, I'm an advocate for all young black talent getting into this business, but I'm an advocate for so many more young kids than just black, you know, kids getting into this business. I'm an advocate for, you know, anybody that got the talent to actually, you know, make it to the next level. I'm gonna put a word in for them, and I think my reputation I've been solid, you know, throughout my career. Like I say, I don't publicize a lot of things, but the guys out there, they know if I've been, you know, on the side of, you know, righteousness as far as this business goes. They know what Booker T has done behind the scenes. I don't have to, you know, talk about it on social media. I'm not trying to get some extra, you know, brownie points or anything for anything that I've done, but they know, they know. And people like Swerve, you know, him and I, we cut from a different cloth, man. We totally cut from a different cloth. And there again, but I honestly, I wish nothing but the best for this dude, man.
Yeah, I feel that.
And I want to see him succeed. Will I ever say anything positive about him ever again? Probably not. You know what I mean? Will I ever put him over? You know, and you know, as far as, you know, being a good worker and someone who could perhaps transform this bit, I probably would never ever do that again. You know what I mean? Because I've learned my lesson. It's like
done it before.
It's like a dog, you know what I mean? I got a boxer downstairs, man, and we fight, we play, man, hard. I'm serious, man. He'll get the meanest growl that you've ever heard in your life. But trust me, when I put my hand in his mouth, he won't bite it. You know, he would not bite the hand that feed him. You know what I mean? And so there again,
Yeah. I just feel like, you got to have respect for the people who come before you. And I mean, and book, like anybody who laces up a pair of boots or even puts on a headset like me, we owe a debt of gratitude to you and so many people who came out of that generation that made us love this thing and want to continue to be a part of it. And, I'm playing around a little bit with some of the stuff that I'm saying, but I do really mean it. Like, if you got something to say, like you can say it to a man's face and you can leave it at that. You know what I mean? I don't know what the idea was behind that. I thought that it was, I thought it was disrespectful. And but I too wish him nothing but the best. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope he's successful. 1,000 years of success. 1,000 years of success.
I ain't gonna bring personal beef to my job.
Thanks.
That's the last thing I'm gonna do is bring a personal beef to my job. So I'm gonna leave it at that though. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame, man. We'll be back in a minute. Boom. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. If that don't explain it, nothing will. I'm serious. I'm serious, man. The thing is, I never really think about that kind of stuff, man. I always thought about just putting in the work. I always said, championships comes with, the guy that's the best in the locker room. That's all. I'm serious. The guy that's the best in the locker room normally going to get his time in the sun sooner or later. The best guy in the locker room, but nah, man, that was a hell of a little piece there, man. And then I got a chance to do it again. That was crazy going to the Hall.
Yeah, I know.
Second time.
Twice. You know what I mean? Twice.
No, man.
But you didn't ever do nothing for him. You never did nothing. Just a bum.
You know what I mean? A journeyman. Just call me a journeyman.
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 You know what I mean?
The guy who
you ain't never done nothing. You ever main event a paper? Oh, wait a minute. Your first pay-per-view match ever was a main event.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, you never won any title. Oh, wait a minute. You're the most decorated champion in history. In history of pro wrestling.
Yeah, no, man. Like I said, I don't want to get at that story too much air because, like I said, I woke up this morning and on every site, people trying to make me, clap back and say something or do something, But like I said, I'm gonna keep it classy, man. I ain't got time to be debating, going back and forth about what I've done, in this business and for this business. It's a non-issue. It really is. But I tell you, man, what's not a non-issue, something I was watching last night, I got a chance to watch. It came out, I guess, a couple of weeks ago, but it was the Hell in the Cell, Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah, man.
Baker versus Foley. And man, good God, man. I didn't really remember how much hell Mick Foley actually went through in that match. I can't say the Undertaker because he didn't go through nowhere near as much as what Mick Foley went through, man. And I swear, man, when I first saw it back then, but I didn't get a chance to really dissect it the way I got a chance to watch it this time. I thought Mick Foley should have died, but after watching it this time, I guarantee, man. Seemed like Mick Foley, man, he should have died in that freaking match. That bump off the top, through the table, that seemed like a soft bump compared to the one through the cage, straight down. I mean, he hit the mat at such a high rate of speed. It seemed like he got there within 1 to 2 seconds, and I can only imagine, the trauma, that his body went through, but still after going through that, he was still able to get up to his feet to do the tack spot. And good God, man. I tell you, man, this business is not for the faint of heart. It really isn't. And what Mick Foley did throughout his career, people can say, wrestling's fake and whatnot, but I'm gonna tell you right now, what Mick Foley did was 100% real. Just about every night he went out to that square circle. I was in Germany when Mick Foley got his ear caught up in the ropes and popped it right off. His ear, literally his earlobe, the whole thing popped off. And I remember Mick Foley still working the match, got through it, and he came back. I just got in WCW at this point in time, right? This is one of my first tours, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And Mick Foley is sitting there across from me in the locker room, and blood is streaming from his ear because the cartilage has been torn completely off. I mean, it was gone. It was blood just streaming down his chest. And I remember this guy coming in the locker room. His name was Gary Capetta, and he had Mick Foley's earlobe in his hand. And he goes, I think this is Mick Foley's ear. Mick looks at him and he goes, baby. And I go, what the hell have I gotten myself into? Do I really want to be a part of this? Because this was something that I had never seen before. And he never got it. He couldn't get it sewed back on or anything like that. He still, to this day, he's got no earlobe on one side. I remember back in the day, he actually was selling 8x10s of that shot, of the ear, the shot with the ear, So it's crazy, But to watch what that man put himself through that night, man. If there was like what do they get, in the army when you're out in the, something for
Purple Heart?
Purple Heart for valor.
Yeah.
He should get it, bro. He should get it. I'm not jiving, bro, because it was the roughest night, perhaps, of any man's career, along with that I Quit match with The Rock. They showed some of that as well. And I think Mick Foley he said he was only supposed to take 5 chair shots, and he took 14.
To the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And man, I tell you, man, nothing but love for Mick Foley, man. I got a chance to hang out with him in Richmond as well. He was right next to me. His table was right next to me. We did a contest with this kid where he did a woo-off with the kid.
I saw that. Yeah.
We did that one, and we also did one where I was actually talking about the rap contest between Jim Ross and Michael Cole. So we analyzed that rap battle all over again. But no, man, and just listening to Mick at the end of that segment of Dark Side of the Ring, he was talking about, as he, he knows, what he's been through, and it scares him. It's something that he thinks about every day, but he's still going to try to continue to get sharper and sharper as he gets older. And I see him working so freaking hard just to really maintain who he really is. And he's doing a hell of a job. I want to just, big ups, big praise to Mick Foley for what he's done for this business, man. Trailblazer, really is.
Mick's a GOAT. He's been GOATed for a long time. And I think even before that Hell in a Cell match, he was solidified as where his place was in the business. And, he and Undertaker had a series of great matches. The Mankind character was really the first character that was able to bring it to the Undertaker on a realistic level when he came in. And then you had some great matches. You had the Buried Alive match. You had Revenge of the Taker, some In Your House pay-per-views I'm thinking of, even the Boiler Room Brawls and things of that nature, leading back to this Hell in a Cell match. And I remember, even being young, they would show that clip of Foley getting thrown off the top of the cell through the tables all the time. You would see it all the time on WWF television. And then when you get a little bit older and you go back and you watch it again, that bump through the cell to the mat, and you see his body boom, hit the mat. It is a wonder that he was able to even stand up after that. Because people forget, if you go back and watch the match, this is all at the beginning of the match. Like they started at the top. And I think that was a Terry Funk idea. I think Terry Funk said, hey, why, they've never started one of these, Mick, on the top, And boom, they start on the top. And boy, man, what a match that was. And then even thinking back to your story with the ear, and you remember Mick always did that the spot off the apron to the
Elbow.
floor, the elbow off the apron to the floor. And a lot of times it'd be on concrete.
I took that spot.
How'd it feel?
Like a feather.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even feel it at all.
He took it all in the hips, huh?
Man, I mean, that's what, like I say, he was so good, man. He really was that good. Of course, he went out there and charged it himself. Throughout all these years, he put his body through hell. He did it for the sake of the art. Did it because it was something that no one else could do. No one else could put themselves through more pain than Mick Foley. That right there just was a badge of honor. For him to actually carry through this business, man. No one will ever do it like Mick Foley ever again. They might try. Of course, we've seen guys that have tried it. But as far as making it to the level of Mick Foley, and I'm talking about the legend of Mick Foley that will live forever, no one else will ever pull that off ever again. I don't care how many try. It was a feat that I don't think will ever be done again.
He's one of one. He is one of one. And you and him, we just saw your Hall of Fame video for 2013. Y'all went in the same class that year, and I'm sure it was a privilege for you to be mentioned alongside not only Bruno Sammartino and Bob Backlund and Trish Stratus, but also the great Mick Foley.
Man, it was a hell of a night. It definitely was a hell of a night. Now we got to take another break. But I tell you what, man, some news been going around in the WWE with my girl. That's just going all the way to the tippy top. We got to talk about it, man. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Harlem Heat looking for everybody. You can't hide. Me and my brother taking over around here, man.
Booker T and Stevie Ray never lack for confidence.
You either roll with us or we gonna roll right over you. Straight to the top of WCW.
Stevie Ray, big strong man, and you got Booker T, phenomenal athlete.
Harlem Heat's showing that power and size dominate.
We will go through each and every sucker to get the World Tag Team title.
Many consider them the dominant tag team of the 90s.
7 times.
8th time.
9 times tag team champions.
For the 10th time,
Stevie Ray and Booker T are family. You want to fight him? Sucker, you got to fight me too. Anybody, anywhere, anytime, get some. You better be picking up bad enough. Take some. Now can you take it? Sucker!
Boom. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. Yeah, man. I tell you, man. It's been getting hot. It's been getting hot in the WWE with the ladies, man. The ladies, Charlotte Flair's back, and Tiffany Stratton doing her thing. Let's talk about it. Tiffany Stratton going off script. What you feeling here, man? What you feeling?
Well, there was like some consternation between the two because the crowd started. Look, I understand Charlotte Flair is polarizing for a lot of people.
Big time, bro.
She's polarizing.
Big
People
time.
either love her, they hate her, but they have an opinion on her, which is important in this industry. But she's definitely polarizing. There's no doubt about it. And I won't say that the crowd, I think the crowd shook her a little bit, but I do think it was unexpected for both of them, for the crowd to be that involved. And sometimes when the crowd happens with that book, you gotta go off of your game plan a little bit, I would think, to acknowledge kind of the new circumstances that we find ourselves at, right? I mean, one of the great examples of all time is WrestleMania 18. Whenever they start booing The Rock and cheering for Hogan, they're like, oof, we got to switch this match up a little bit. Rock started going heel, Hogan started working the baby. Even though the week before he ran him over with a semi truck. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta just read the field and play it. So they started to get a little bit personal with one another. I think that Tiffany mentioned how Charlotte is never gonna live up to the legacy of her father, Ric Flair. And, she mentioned some stuff about her personal life and her marriages and the issues that happened there. Charlotte mentioned, Kaiser sliding in the DMs. And they cut all this stuff out apparently when they put the segment up on social media.
Slide in the DM.
coming for in the DMs, man.
Oh my God.
And you know what? I guess the question would be for you more than my opinion. Is it okay in a WrestleMania feud or any feud for that matter, if you're trying to make money on it, is it okay to bring the real life into it? Can you talk about the personal life? You know, there was the controversial time where the Sean and Brett stuff when he's talking about the Sunny Days promo and even, you know, I mean, I know you've had your real life be a part of storylines before. Many people have. I remember when Paul Bear passed away, they used Paul Bear's death in the storyline with Punk and Undertaker. Is there a line? Is it always okay? Is it always about business? Or is that a conversation you need to have ahead of time?
You know, for me, it's always been about business. You know, I mean, I don't let anything like that, you know, make me lose sleep or anything like that. It's an angle. It's public knowledge as well. So if we use it, you know, let's use it. If we're gonna go, let's go all the way. You know, so I remember, you know, the angle with Eddie and JBL. Man, with Eddie's mom.
Oh, where she had the heart attack?
I mean, it was just crazy, you know what I mean? But it was those guys loved each other so much. So when it comes to, you know, professional wrestling, it is to be embellished. It is to be used. You know, life is art. You know, so I think you gotta go with it. If not, you're just missing a moment, really. You know, I mean, look at the heat Charlotte Flair had. I don't know if that was because of, I don't really know why she had so much heat, but I told you before you know, when she was trying to do the babyface thing, I was like, she's not a babyface. You know, the fans, they respect her enough to cheer for her, but she's not a babyface.
Yeah.
But as a heel, it's so easy to freaking boo her out of the building. You know what I mean? And for me, man, we could use this. We really can. We could use this. Because, you know, in a match, I always say, as a heel, I need the fans cheering as loud as they possibly can for my opponent. And if I'm the perfect heel, and they're gonna boo the crap out of me, no matter who I'm working, they're gonna cheer the hell out of that person. They're gonna put that person over like they've never put anybody over before. So for me, use it, because there again, you know, Charlotte Flair, she's like, you know, like one of these mafia bosses. She's a made woman. It's time to make Tiffany. It's time to bring Tiffany up. And you're going to need somebody like Charlotte Flair to actually be able to go down to Tiffany's level, to actually bring her up to her level. So no, I love this, man. That's what this business is truly all about. And hopefully, you know, Tiffany will get the rub and get a chance to go out there and work with one of the true greats of the business and be able to learn something inside that square circle at the same time.
Well, I agree with you. I think that everything should always be on the table, especially when you're doing a WrestleMania feud. You know, if y'all going to come for each other, you got to come for each other. The one thing I don't like is where you don't big the other person up. Do you know what I mean? Like, to me, if you and I are in a feud book and I'm like, Booker, you're old, you're busted, you're broke down. You know what I mean? You're a has-been. I mean, and I'm just talking down to you. If I beat you, what does that mean then? Right? Like, it doesn't mean anything. But if I was like, you know, Book, you're one of the greatest of all time. Everybody knows it. You're a two-time Hall of Famer. 35 times you've had a championship around your waist. And that's why at WrestleMania, when I take you out, people will remember I'm the man who retired one of the greatest of all time. Like that, to me.
Well, I playing devil's advocate, you know, I get that. But it goes both ways also, you know what I mean? Because when I look at someone, like you just said earlier, with Rock and Hogan, and the fans start cheering for Hogan, it's that, you know, wanting to see the old dog actually overcome, you know what I mean? So if you might want to put him down enough to where the fans actually do get behind that person, you know what I mean? Just like Rocky Balboa, that story, Rocky Five, that was, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, Rocky's 5 where Tommy Gunn or Mason Dixon.
Rocky 6. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, no, man, it goes both ways. I get what you're saying. If it was one of the young guys, somebody that's been doing it, just like me, I'm definitely going to build that guy up to go out there and try to break him down.
Yeah. I think that you do both, right? You build them up, but at the same time, you can talk your smack. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't just do one side.
Yeah,
like, just to me, like, then it becomes a rap battle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, nobody looks good after a rap battle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Y'all just get insulted as personally as you can get. But if you build each other up, yes. Now, some people say that Tiffany's work, as far as on the mic, because her in-ring work you can't really critique much because she's phenomenal in the ring. Some people say that when she's on the mic in those unscripted situations, she doesn't seem as comfortable. Now, she's a gymnast background. She kind of developed this character of Tiffany Stratton. Do you feel like that she needs to work on her promo game, or do you just feel like that's something that you figure out as your character evolves over time? I mean, what do you say to those people?
Well, I still think Tiffany Stratton is still trying to find herself. She's been in the game now, what, 3 years? Okay, Let's give her 3 years. I think she's still trying to find herself. I mean, with that character, that daddy's little girl character that she was playing before, with the blonde girl, the pretty girl that's got all the money, and she speaks a certain way, almost like a Paris Hilton like type deal. Yeah. Of course, she's going to have to try to figure out, who she really is. For me, it took years, to come up with certain, catchphrases, certain phrases that I would use, and I would use those phrases all the time, So it's just a matter of Tiffany finding herself. Is she great on the mic right now? No, she isn't. But I'm not expecting her to be great on the mic right now. I mean, as far as her being as good as she's going to get, she's still so freaking young in this business. I'm going to give her a little leeway as far as getting better on the mic. Of course, she got to get better.
Yeah, and when you say not great, it doesn't mean you're saying she's bad. You're just saying that she has room for improvement.
Yeah, of course, she's gonna have. I mean, there's so many guys on the mic that get on the mic that don't have those skills. That's why you don't see so many guys get on the mic because of that. And I've talked about it before, as far as back in the day, guys grabbed the microphone, guys could talk all night. But back then, those guys were seasoned veterans. Those guys were really, really good actors. And that's something that this new generation, I think, as they're getting older, they're learning it. But that's what it's about. It's about maturity. It's about learning it. It's about, getting those reps in. I think give Tiffany Stratton as much time as Charlotte Flair has been in the business. I think she'll be at another level. I would expect. How long Charlotte been in the game now?
I was just thinking that. I think she started in NXT in 2013.
So
memory has me correct. That's 12 years.
It's so freaking hard to compare those two apples to apples.
Yeah.
It really is. As good as Tiffany Stratton is inside the square circle, she still has so much more growth inside the ring. From a general perspective, it's so much knowledge that can go in one's head over a career, and she hadn't even scratched the surface.
No, I agree. 2012, by the way, is where Charlotte first debuted.
2012. How long ago was that, man? That seemed like
13 years.
It seemed like a lifetime. We got to take a break, guys. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame, man. We'll be back in a minute.
Fellas, let's talk about confidence. The kind of confidence that counts when it's time to step up and deliver. And that's where Blue Chew comes in. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets designed to help men achieve stronger, harder, and longer lasting erections. We're talking about getting in the game and staying in it.
And you know what they say, man. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And with Blue Chew, you can take these chewables anytime, day or night. So you're always good to go when the opportunity strikes. And the best part, the entire process is done online. No doctor's visits, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at a pharmacy.
Ooh, yeah. And Blue Chew is putting their money where their mouth is, offering you a whole month for free. It's simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com and consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once approved, you'll receive your prescription delivered discreetly right to your door, made in the USA and ready to go when you are.
Now, Brad, let's get real. Does it work, man? They'll mistake you for a soldier at full salute. You'll be pitching a tent like a true Eagle Scout, man. Blue Chew won't stop until every man is bricked up like a brick house. That's the mission, dog.
And listen, confidence is key, especially when you're all bricked up. There's nothing sexier than a man who's ready to go. And at BlueChew.com, they can help bring that energy when it matters most. Don't miss out on what could be the best night of your life. Make life easier by getting harder. Discover your options at BlueChew.com, and we've got a deal just for our listeners. Try your first month absolutely free. Visit BlueChew.com, use the promo code Booker, and there's more details and important safety information. And as always, we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the Hall of Fame podcast.
Oh, yeah, man. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. What's your favorite commercial there, right?
I just hate it, but I love Blue Chew. So shout out to the Chew, baby. Shout out to the Chew. But God, man, I want to retake that one. It's like I wish you would have been real when we did it. You know what I mean?
Bro, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I wish you would have been real and been like, hey, yo, Brad, hey, I'm just letting you know, that sounds a little strange. My man, that sounds a little weird. Maybe we should reword that. You know what I mean? Maybe we should take it. Take two. You know what I mean?
It's a commercial, bro. It's a commercial, all right? Come on. Ain't nobody worried about that. Ain't nobody worried about that.
Come on, now I'm hot. I'm a little bit hot about it. You know what I mean? Somebody give me a microphone in a almost empty arena. I got something I want to say. Sorry.
Man.
I can't help.
Speaking of empty arenas, man, reality wrestling. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about pay. I'm talking about reality wrestling payout. It's coming up, and we are under construction at the Walker, Texas Lawyer Arena again. Getting ready to do something big in there, man. So get ready for the new look at the Walker, Texas Lawyer Arena, man. We definitely taking it to another level. My guys are going to be so impressed. The fans are going to have a different feel inside the building. I'm excited just because it's something. It's like a dream come true for me to actually be able to pull something off like this. As far as having our own arena, never thought in my wildest dreams that we would be able to pull something off like this. I remember when Charmel talked to me about, baby, we need to get our own arena, and I was like, are you crazy? I'm like, what are you talking about? She was like, nah, we really got to, what I mean? She showed me the numbers, what I mean? She was like, if we could just make an extra, XYZ right here, man, I think we could do it, And I was like, it's no freaking way. And now, every month it seems like we're spending more money. So it's crazy. It's gotten that big. And I want to thank the Road Nation as well, our YouTube Road Nation. We're close to 850,000 YouTube subscribers. That's a milestone. That's a milestone for just a mom and pop shop. We're just a small wrestling company, but we work real hard for our artists. And I tell you, man, it's been amazing. 2025 already. I can only imagine what the rest of the year going to look like.
And you know what? Coming up this weekend at the Walker Texas Lawyer Arena again, 9300 NMF Lowry Expressway, you're going to see a no-limit steel cage match between Will Allday and Terrell Tempo to end their rivalry that's been going on for the last several months at Reality Wrestling. They're going to end it all in a no-limit steel cage match, which means weapons will be involved in the cage. And also, main eventing. Breaking news hot off the presses from our executive manager, Andrew Jackson. Zilla Fatu is cashing in his opportunity that he won at the Last Stand Rumble early. And he's taking on Gaspar Hernandez for the Reality Wrestling title this Saturday. Pay up. The first official taping of Reality Wrestling Platinum coming to the YouTube airwaves and television airwaves here shortly.
Yeah. Zilla Fatu, huh? Zilla Fatu. We got something for him. You know what I mean? We got something for Zilla Fatu. So make sure you guys show up to the Walker, Texas Lawyer Arena and get your feel like chili most. Oh yeah, man. but no, man.
I wanted to ask you something because we're talking about the No Limit Steel Cage match earlier. You were talking about Mick Foley and what he put his body through And I have something on that, but just kind of talking about injuries and putting your body through stuff. Kevin Owens, obviously this week discussed that he and Randy Orton were supposed to do battle at WrestleMania, and he's having to pull out because he has to have surgery on his neck. I'm not exactly sure the severity of the situation, but apparently, it could be, from what people say online and what I've read, and what Kevin Owens said, it could be a career threatening type situation. And Kevin Owens has been on a hell of a run. His entire run in WWE has been awesome. But just going back to the Royal Rumble, I think one of the greatest ladder matches I've ever seen, if not the greatest ladder match I've ever seen, with him and Cody Rhodes. And so I hate that this is coming for him at this time. This is a guy who main evented WrestleMania against Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 38, at WrestleMania 39. He was in the main event, won the tag team titles. He's always been an integral part of the show. And so that's a big loss, man, for the fans. But obviously we want Kevin to be okay and do what he has to do.
Now, one thing about that neck injury, that surgery, you don't want to mess around with it.
Yeah.
Of course, I remember a doctor told me, you can either have surgery and do the rehab and try to come back, or you could not have surgery and hang the boots up now. And I was like, let's hang them up. Let's get it done. But Kevin Owens is a guy that was out there on that independent scene for more than 15 years before he finally got his break. And then he came in the WWE, and he's done a hell of a job. One thing about this dude, he's been a soldier. He truly has been a soldier, and I hope and I pray for Kevin Owens to be able to finish this thing on his own terms and walk away from it the way he really want to walk away from it. So hopefully this neck injury isn't as bad as one could imagine. But I believe Kevin Owens, he's one of those guys that could be a WWE lifer, man, because he's got so much freaking knowledge to give. And so many young kids could benefit from having a guy like Kevin Owens around them, mentoring them and teaching them what this business is truly all about, because this guy did it his way and he went all the way to the freaking top. You could do nothing but give a guy like Kevin Owens the utmost respect and the utmost credit for what he's done in this business.
Yeah, I mean, a true, go to this generation. He's great. He's honestly great. And I think that from his first match in the WWE, even his first big rivalry in the main roster was when he was still NXT champion. It was against John Cena. It kind of tells you the level that he is at as far as his ability. And I would hate for this to be the end of KO. I really would, because I think he should have been a multiple-time world champion by now. You know what I mean? Not just one. You could have had this thing on him for the last 10 years. Is how much I believe in that guy, because he's someone who can talk you into the building. He can work his work keeps you in the building, and when he's done, you watch him leave. You know what I mean? You watch him walk out because you're like, man, that's a star right there.
He's the real deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not your prototypical, guy in that box. And but he makes everything work. I'm serious, man. He makes everything. He's the true epitome of what the wrestler is. Guys that just go out there and grind and perform at the highest level with anybody in the ring. So there again, man, I'm definitely going to be praying for Kevin Owens to, get back and have a speedy recovery. There again, if it's something for him to do, gotta point him in that direction and give him a little push, and the rest is going to be up to him. But we'll see, man. Godspeed.
Yeah, love that. A lot of love to that guy and his family. And it made me want to bring this up. And this, from what I'm reading and from what I understand, was not from any kind of hardcore match or anything. This could just be an amalgamation of wear and tear over the last 20 plus years, or it could have just been one of those freak things that happened. But you talk about that. You talk about Mick Foley. And I heard Samoa Joe say this last week too, that match that he had with TJ Wilson. Boom, that one thing happens where TJ's out, and it's the biggest regret of his career. Things like that happen in the business. But I wanted to know, from your perspective, you kind of strayed away from the hardcore matches, even though you're a two-time hardcore champion, but you're straight away from the hardcore matches. You had some injuries in your career, but thankfully, you're able to walk around and get around real well at the age of 60. Still look like you're in phenomenal shape. Didn't have to blade a lot or anything like that. I don't know if I've ever seen Booker T bleed in a match. Maybe it happened, but I never saw it.
No.
How were you able to circumvent all that?
I had my bumps in the road, man. You know what I mean? In Australia, my back went out and I thought I was going to, have to retire. I had to lie in bed for like 2 months. I had 2 epidurals. I mean, Mike Awesome, he dropped me on the back of my head. Awesome bum. I was out for like 3 months. Stuff like that happens. I just tried my best to, not get hurt. But one thing about this business, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when it's going to happen to you, So certain things in the business is just part of it. All wrestlers, they say, no wrestler leave unscathed. No wrestler leave unscathed. And that's truly, that's a true statement. It really is. I feel good at my age. I think I feel better than most guys at my age, actually. But I think it's due to, me not ever playing sports. I was a drum major in school. When I got into business, I was pretty fresh, so as well as I tried to, think about the stages, the house shows, the overseas tours, the pay-per-views, the TV matches, I tried to make sure I structured everything properly. But one thing about me, I hate MRIs. And if you get hurt, you got to have one. And so I tried my best to stay out of that damn MRI. That was my thing, man. But we got to take another break, man. We got to take another break. Stick around, man. You're inside the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Hey, this is Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Fame. I got something for you guys, man. Look, when I was a kid, man, cereal was my jam. But now, since I'm a grown man, I'm looking for something that gives me more than just a sugar rush and carbs, man. That's when I found Magic Spoon. Look, it's a cereal that gives you the taste of your childhood favorites, but without sugar and packed with tons of protein.
And if you're already a fan of Magic Spoon, then you need to listen up to this because I've got some big news. Magic Spoon has taken that amazing cereal that we all love and turned it into high-protein treats. These new treats are light, they're crispy, and they become my go-to snack, especially before or even after the gym.
Yeah, man, every serving of Magic Spoon cereal has 13 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar, and only 4 grams of net carb. That fruity and cocoa flavor are the classic ones, but there's a whole lot more to try, man.
And those new treats, they've got 12 grams of protein and come in flavors like marshmallow and chocolatey peanut butter. Perfect when you're on the go or you need a quick snack to fuel up before that workout.
Yeah, man, I keep a box in my gym bag, but it's a great late night snack as well. Those treats have that crispy texture, great taste, and the macros that make you feel good about eating them.
So Magic Spoon's bringing back those nostalgic flavors, but without all the stuff that we don't want. So if you want to try it for yourself and get $5 off your next order, go to magicspoon.com/HOF. That's magicspoon.com/HOF. Or you can even find it on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store.
That's magicspoon.com/HOF for $5 off. Magic Spoon, hold on to the dream. Boom! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Just chopping it up. Talking about a little everything. When I say everything, I mean everything, man. But I want to touch on something. You mentioned Samoa Joe, and we was talking about the neck injury that Kevin Owens is going to have to go through having the surgery and whatnot. But I remember having a match in TNA, and we were at the Impact Zone, and Samoa Joe ran out and he blasted me from the backside, and boom, and I went down, man. Like my fingers was tingling, my toes was tingling, and I went down. I was like, "What the heck's going on, man?" And that's when I realized. That's when I first found out about my neck injury, and it wasn't anything that Joe did. He just caught me with a stiff shot, kind of jolted me a little bit. And man, from that point on, I was like, man, it might be time to wrap this thing up. Because the thing is, wrestlers, man, we know our bodies. We know our bodies, man. When something is not right, we know it. So that night I knew something was not right. And because it was a feeling that I had never felt before in my whole wrestling career.
And that's the scary thing about this industry, right? Is that something like that can happen, and at any given moment. And it's why, like, it doesn't matter. I mean, it even goes back to the D'Lo Brown and draws stuff, right? It's like D'Lo could have done the same thing 100 times and there'd be no issue. No issue. Sometimes it just happens that way, man. And it's unfortunate. It is unfortunate. Thankfully, it's rare. Right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I remember a couple years ago.
What's rare? What's rare?
Well, like full paralyzation.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, thankfully, something like that is rare. Now,
getting injured, that's not rare.
No, getting injured isn't rare at all in pro wrestling. I mean, it probably happens on a weekly. But stuff like that, like of instance, every time a boxer's in a fight, they're probably walking away worse for wear. Something's hurt, something's torn, something's ripped, something's
They probably concussed.
They're probably concussed, but not every time is something like what happened with Ray Mancini, right? Where somebody dies in the ring.
Yeah,
it's a very rarity, you know.
And Ray Mancini and Dooku Kim, one of the greatest fights that was ever televised. A war. Dooku Kim lost his life in that match due to bleeding on the brain. That.
Thankfully, it's rare. You know, it's a rare occurrence that it happens. But it's always scary that's a possibility out there. Always scary. That's why, like, again, going back to the Mick Foley in Hell in a Cell, like, how did this dude walk away from that?
How did he do it? God, man. God was on the side.
Taker, man. I don't know, because I didn't see the Dark Side of the Ring piece, but I've seen a lot about this match. Trust me, it's one of the most covered matches in the history of pro wrestling. And I remember Taker saying when he went through because he wasn't supposed to go through the top of the cell. That wasn't supposed to happen. Obviously, the pitch off the top, they game planned.
Well, from what I heard was he was supposed to go through it, but it was supposed to have effect of breaking, and then go down.
Oh, okay.
But it didn't happen that way.
No, it went.
Yeah, from what they was talking about on Dark Side of the Ring, they had zip ties holding the top up. And at one point, they both took a step, and they both almost went through the top.
Because there's a time where you see Taker's foot drop through.
Oh man, it was like, what the hell? So man.
But Taker said when he went through the top, he thought he was dead. He goes, I thought he was dead. As soon as he hit the ground, I thought he was dead. I mean, he hit so hard, somehow his tooth ended up coming out of his nose.
Hey, bro.
Figure that one out.
It's one of those things it's not meant for everyone. You know, Mick Foley is a special type of dude. Yeah. He really is. He really is. He's like the Evel Knievel of pro wrestling. And for you guys who don't know who Evel Knievel is, man, this dude he's bad. He was one of the baddest dudes you ever going to see me in your life. You know what I mean? But I remember Elvis took his last jump, right? Mm-hmm. It was over probably like about 25 cars or something like that on that Harley, and boom, he hit that ramp and he like just went in crazy, the bike just totally just went crazy on him. He took a bump, bang, bing, 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 bing. And they wanted to put him in the ambulance, but he wanted to get up. Evel wanted to get up, and he wanted to walk to that podium, and he wanted to speak on that microphone just one more time. And he went there and Evel said, thank you guys for coming out and watch me do this jump. But ladies and gentlemen, I will never, ever jump again. He was beat up, but he still got it out, man. Tough dude, man. That's Mick Foley. Mick Foley, man. He asked himself the question. He said, man, if he could do it all over again, he'd probably, be hard pressed, but he'd probably do it all over again.
Well, you know what? I will say in about an hour's time, if you are in the Houston area and you want to go see the legend himself, Mick Foley, he is actually at the Houston Improv tonight for Mick Foley, 40 years of Foley. So you can still get tickets. Showtime starts at 7:30. So let's give Mick a plug. He's here in the Houston area. So make sure you go do that's off Katy Freeway at the Edwards Marquee area, the Improv.
I'm going to tell you, Nobody works as hard as Mick Foley.
He's the guy.
Nobody. This dude, he's somewhere every week doing something, twice a week. Seriously.
He is one of two people that I am baffled we've never had inside the Hall of Fame. Mick Foley and JBL. I'm shocked that we've never had them on the show. We got to arrange that. I'll work on it too. But I feel like that's something we got to.
I just give him a call. I'm sure you'll come
Give him a call. Give him a call. Come on, man. But with Mick and the Evel Knievel thing, it's funny. And this is just an aside, but Evel Knievel obviously also known for the outfits.
Yeah,
you know, the jumpsuits, the way that he, you know, would dress. And I saw that a fellow WWE Hall of Famer, two actually, Kid Rock was in the Oval Office recently with the president, and he was wearing, it looked just like Evel Knievel, right? And I saw the report, and one of the reporters goes, and there goes Kid Rock looking like he's about to get fired out of a cannon. that was the joke. That was the joke, and it was hilarious.
I can see that suit vividly.
Oh, bro, you should have seen it. He looked just like Evel Knievel. It was crazy, you know. But you know, hey, man, to each his own. To each his own. To each his own. Shout out to Mick Foley though, GOAT, the GOAT. Wait, I gotta show you this picture, and then we're gonna get into our super chats. By the way, people sending in all of our super chats from all over the world. Check that out. That's Evel Knievel, right?
Colonel Sanders, one of the
two. shout out to Kid Rock, man. He's an original. You gotta give him that. WWE Hall of Famer, by the way.
Oh my God. Let's roll to super chats, man. We probably want to get started now because
yes,
we got one more segment.
Here we go. We're gonna go to our first one here. Make sure if you have a question for Booker T or a comment or for me for that matter, go ahead and super chat that one on in.
Super chat.
First one comes from Lil Big Meech. Look, I'm heading to Mania next week. My mission is to see the GOAT. Anything planned? I'm assuming he means you.
Man, I don't know, man. I don't have anything planned other than WWE Fanatics from 9 to 12 on Sunday. I got a couple of deals. I got a sit down I'm going to be doing for LFG. I think that's at the World. I think I got one more thing to do. But I'm gonna be floating, man. I'm gonna be floating around Vegas. I'm sure you might run into me, bro. So hopefully we'll take a pic or something like that.
Yeah, man. Mike Wootson has one here. What's up, guys? Love the show. What do you guys think about Tiffany going off script about Charlotte's personal life? Do you think she went overboard? We talked about this a second ago. You say it's all on the table.
It's all on the table, bro. I mean, when you find yourself in this business, life is reality. Sometimes let's use it. Sometimes it's good therapy. Sometimes. So, yeah. So I'm all in.
And you said that JR was the one who told you, hey, Book, like let's put a more shine on your personal life and bring that into your character on television, right?
JR told me you need to tell your story. He said we really need to get that out. And he didn't say, anything, business related or anything, but he was like, maybe from a therapeutic perspective, as well as I could help a lot of kids that's watching Booker T, that looks up to Booker T, and see that Booker T is not flawed. And if Booker T can do it, they can too. I think that's my story, man. That's my story more than anything. Trust me, if I can do it, it's a possibility. But you have to put in a lot of work. You're gonna have to work your butt off for it to go out there and be truly, one of the greats. Brad, put that picture up with all those titles up on it, but
I did.
This is something somebody made up for me at NXT.
Look at this. So Booker's showing us a list of all the championships that he won in his career. Look at that. Grand Slam champion, Cauliflower Alley Club, Lou Thez, Hall of Famer. Really a 3-time Hall of Famer.
You know what I mean? So just put the work in, man. Just put the work in. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. We got to take a break. Stick around. Hey, y'all. Booker T here alongside with my main man, Brad Gilmore. And today we're talking about something that could really change the game when it comes to how you get paid.
That's right, Booker, because let's face it, life doesn't just happen every 2 weeks. So why wait for a payday? With Earn In, the money you've earned already can be in your hands today.
Earn In is this incredible app that lets you access your pay as you earn it. We're talking about up to $100 per day and up to $750 each pay period.
All you got to do is download the Earn In app, verify your paycheck, and boom, you can access up to $100 a day as you work. And the cool part, you just leave an optional tip, and any money you access plus the tip gets repaid when your next paycheck rolls in.
You know, Brad, I'm always talking about staying ready so you don't have to get ready, right? Imagine having that extra cash for that surprise date night, or maybe when you have to take the furry little friend to the vet unexpectedly. You know.
Absolutely, Booker. Or even those times when you need to grab a last-minute gift, or maybe you're a little short on rent, or hey, even you might want to pick up some new gear for yourself or your kids or your lady.
Folks, make Earn In part of your financial playbook. Join over 3.5 million customers who are finding financial stability and peace of mind thanks to Earn In.
So don't wait around for a payday. Get your money when you need it and take control of your finances. Download Earn In today and experience what it's like to access pay on your terms.
Get started with Earn In now and join the millions who are getting their pay their way. It's time to earn in, not just earn. Check it out, man. Boom. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. Showing all those titles right there. I was listening to Jim Cornette show a couple of days ago. He was talking about BET, giving me the award of, number one black wrestler. And Jim Cornette. His partner, I don't know who his partner is, but he really want to give me big props or anything. But Jim Cornette, the first thing he goes, damn, Booker T's won a lot of titles.
I think I can't remember his partner's name. I think it's Brian or something like that. I listened to the clip too. I heard that. I will.
He didn't have bury me or anything like that. But when he said that, but damn, Booker T's won a lot of titles.
I will say, look, with Cornette, like I don't always agree with what Cornette says. Sometimes I do, but I actually
most of the time I do. Most of the time I agree with.
I will tell you this: I appreciate his perspective every time, whether I agree with it or not.
Yeah, most of the times I agree with Jim Cornette on his take, not just because we're from the same school or anything like that, but he's well knowledgeable about this business. If you can't take advice from a guy like Jim Cornette, you're missing the boat. You really are. But let's roll on. Let's keep it rolling.
Real quick. Have you ever seen that video of where he talks about like what the appeal of pro wrestling is? Have you ever seen that? Oh, it's one of, I almost want to play it, but it's one of the great videos of all time where Jim Cornette easily explains why pro wrestling is so great and why people are attracted to it. And like, if you don't get it after watching his like impassioned speech about it, like you just will not get why this industry means so much to millions of people all over the world. And Jim Cornette, not a better articulator.
No, if anybody can explain it, it's definitely gonna be Jim Cornette. I mean, the dude's a historian as far as this business goes. He really truly is.
Well, I mean, and I'll paraphrase, and I know we got to get the super chats, but he was like, man, imagine you're driving by the side of the road and you see two guys. You don't know who the hell they are, but two guys on the side of the road and they're into a scuffle. They're yelling at each other. They're screaming at one another. And one guy starts swinging on the other guy, and he's way bigger than the little one. And you pull over and you say, man, what the hell's going on here? And then you start seeing that big guy just wail away on the little guy. And then in your head, you're thinking, man, I want to see this little guy come back and do something. And then that little guy starts coming back and he's reaching back and bam, he's hitting him. He's kicking the hell out of him. Bah, bah, bah. And all of a sudden you're caught up in it. Your blood's pumping, your heart's racing. You want to see this little guy go out there and beat the hell out of the big guy. And then he does it. And you're thinking, oh my God, what a rush. That's pro wrestling. It's essentially what he said. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's true.
Yeah. It's kind of like the hatchet wielding hitchhiker. You ever seen that?
No, I haven't seen that. What is that?
Check it out on Netflix.
Okay, I'll watch it. Okay, here's our next one. Walrad says Booker T is an advocate for the people. He's opened up more doors than Swerve even knows exists. Swerve talks to Vlad. Booker talks to students.
Hey, man, I'm going to keep opening doors. I'm gonna keep opening doors. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Ain't gonna let nobody kill my joy, man. I'm serious. I ain't gonna let nobody, take my smile away like Ethan Page been doing in NXT, man. Because it's all about having fun, man. I'm gonna be laughing the day before I leave this earth. Trust me on that.
Yeah, facts. Big Breezo says, "You're awesome, Book. I don't like the disrespect."
Hey, man, this world today is about hate, man. It's about seeing if we can pull somebody down or if we can destroy someone, and take everything away from them. That's what this world has become in a lot of ways, man. And I hate to see it. I hate what we are as a people. I'm talking about not just as Black people, as people, because man, I want to see. It's just like when I see like one of my kids, not one of my kids, but one of my students got a chance to go to Japan, a couple of years ago, Ruthless Ryan Davison, and I helped facilitate him going to Japan. And he's like, I gotta get you when I get back. And I was like, man, I got to get you there, because I wanted Ryan to see Roppongi. I wanted him to see, what it was like downtown Tokyo. I wanted him to get on that bus and take that trip and go around and see, I wanted him to, check out the Kyo Plaza Hotel if you're over there. No, I'm sad because I wanted him to see exactly, what I saw and how I felt. I wish everyone could have that feeling at least one time in their lives, man, because it was the greatest thing that I ever could imagine in my life. And I wish, like I said, I hate seeing the homelessness, on the street, man. I got every time I roll up by one of them, man, I got to come up out my pocket and, I hate it. I'm serious, man. I wish we could read that, but yeah, that's what I'm about, opening doors.
Yeah. And I'm not a fan of the disrespect either. BT, and I know we already spoke on it, so we don't need to elaborate too much. But I will say, like, I saw that full clip of the Vlad interview with Swerve. I don't know if you've seen the full thing, but they finally put it out on YouTube. It's 5 minutes long. And before he talks about the comment of you and the segment and whatever, he actually mentions you and Mark Henry. And he talks about, I don't know if you saw this, but he's like, and I saw what they did in the company, and, I look up to these guys. And he's like, Booker's actually a friend of mine. And he goes, but now I stand aside them. I don't have to look up to him anymore. We're all on the same side, or something like that. I don't want you to comment on that. But what I did want to say is, if that's how Swerve feels, and he said that y'all were friends, then, and you have that respect and that reverence for the people who paved the way for you, black, white, and different. I'm just saying you're an OG in this game. I think that when you see him in person, you have your conversation with him. That's when you have the conversation. You say, hey, look, OG, look, let me tell you where I'm coming from. All love, respect. You don't go out there and do what you did. Because, like, I'll be honest with you, Book. There's times, like, people probably don't know this about me a lot, but, like, my entertainment career started in the hip-hop world. You know this, but, like, a lot of people don't know. Covering the hip-hop, going to all the shows, performing, doing all this stuff. Man, anytime I had a Slim Thug or an ESG or a DJ DMD or a Bun B around and they would say something to me, a word of advice, I never looked at it as criticism. I always looked at it as like, okay, let me learn. Let me hear. What are they saying? How can I learn this?
Let me ask you this before you move any further. Did you, even though you are getting in that year where you're the guy, you're doing these shows, was there ever a time that you didn't look up to those guys?
Book. When we did the interview with Bun like a year ago, whenever that was, I asked him for his autograph.
That's exactly my point.
These are y'all are OGs to me. Like, but like book, same thing. Like when I got into the wrestling game, and I'd listen to you. You probably, I don't know if you remember this or not. I would ask you so many questions all the time, and I asked you for feedback. And when you gave me feedback, one time you called me and you're like, "Hey man, your commentary, let's talk about it." And it was critical of what I was doing on the show. But I didn't take it as, man, this old guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm going to do what I do. I'd be like, let me listen to what he's talking about. And then I'm like, oh, wait, Book's right. I asked Bruce Pritchard. Bruce Pritchard gives me game. Oh, wait, Bruce is right. I remember I would volunteer to drive the guys back to the airport just so I could get game from Kevin Nash or Scott Hall or Boogie or RVD.
I mean, that's a asinine kind of like statement because I've been around guys that, I watched when I was younger, and now I've gotten where I am in this lifetime, and I still look up to those guys. I'm not gonna try to say, well, I'm on this guy's level, so I could. I mean,
I want to say this, and I hope you don't mind me saying it, but like when the whole thing went down at the convention center or whatever, right? Or a convention last week, whenever that was in Virginia. Shortly thereafter, you and I were on the phone. We were talking to each other. And while we're on the phone, in the background, I literally hear somebody wooing. And I hear, hey, Booger. And it was Ric Flair on the other end of the phone. And you're like, hey, Rick, what's going on, man? And I'm listening to the conversation between the two of you.
Yeah.
You were giddy to be around Ric Flair because that's Ric Flair. That's the real boy there. That's
I'm always look up to him. I'm always giving props.
And even though other people might say it, you have never put yourself on the same level as a Ric Flair, ever. I've never heard you say it.
It's not my job to do that. It's
Right.
not my job. I'm going to always respect him because he came before me. He's an OG, and I'm going to always give him that respect. You know what I mean? If I could pick up the tab, I would, but Rick won't let me. He want to pick the tab up every time. You know what I mean? But I got so much respect for him. I want to pick the tab up just because that's the way it should be. But here nor there. Let's keep it rolling.
We'll keep it rolling. But the fact is too, like, it's all about respecting at the end of the day. And Book, even if I don't agree with you on something, I'm gonna hear you out. I'm going, okay, where's he coming from? Where are you coming from, Book? Like, make it make sense to me so I can understand. And then I could understand your perspective and still disagree with you. Yeah. We can still disagree.
Yeah.
But that's where the respect comes in. That's where respect comes into play. And when you have that opportunity to have that conversation, you turn it down, and then you want to go out and you want to, in my opinion, clout chase a little bit. Like, that's not where you should be at. That's not where you should be at. That's not the way you handle yourself.
Yeah.
That's not the way I would handle my business. Maybe that's how I'm thinking. I would handle it different. You know what I mean? And if I were to see Swerve out somewhere, Swerve probably doesn't know me from Adam, but I would sit and have the conversation with him. I would let him know where I'm coming from and how I feel like it's disrespectful. I would listen to what he has to say because that's how men talk to one another. That's how people.
Bro, these millennials are different.
I'm a millennial.
I mean,
I'm 31 years old, man. And the thing is, like, if you walk around and you do not have the reverence for the people who you were fans of, I have this 45 right here on the wall of International Players Anthem, UGK and Outkast. You know what I mean? To be around Bun B, that's a moment for me. That's a moment for me. The fact that Bun B knows who I am, that's a moment for me. The fact that I talk to you more than maybe anybody on the face of this planet on the phone, that's incredible to me. And I never, ever, ever, ever will be like, oh no, Book and I are even. That's not how I look at it.
I mean, I've been around Ron Simmons, man, my whole career, and Ron always spit game to me, and I never once, thought I was on Ron Simmons' level. I never tried to put myself on Ron Simmons' level. He's on his own level. You know what I mean? And hopefully I'll create my own one day as well. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna always respect that dude and give him that the utmost respect. Every single time I see him, I'm gonna give him a hug, and no matter what has happened. You know what I mean? That's just I don't know. That's just the way it was back in the day. But let's keep it rolling, man.
We'll keep it rolling. We'll keep it growing. The next one here comes from Cali Toenail, our man Cali Toenail, who, by the way, is now moderating our chat. I want to give it a big shout out to Cali Toenail. He's getting the spam bots and all the bad actors out of here. So shout out to Cali. You earned that, man. You got to love CM Punk's favor. It makes this match so much more interesting. Paul Heyman is so good. You'll never know what he's going to do till he does it. Paul's one of the best of all time.
I'm loving CM Punk getting the shine, man. I'm serious. You know what I mean? Just because dude's been through a lot. This has been his ultimate goal, is to be in this moment, the main event at WrestleMania. So yeah, man, go out and savor the flavor, man. I'm glad CM Punk's back. Glad he's doing his thing. And if anybody's different, man, it's CM Punk, man. He's a totally different dude. I mean, I don't know if it's just the maturity after going out there, whatnot. But I appreciate CM Punk being back.
We know, he said that he had to work with children before, so maybe he enjoys working with adults now. Those are his words, not mine. I'm just saying, maybe that has something to do with it. But by all accounts, he's a different individual this time around. Eric and I do appreciate where he's at. and what he's doing for the business right now. Eric Minion Sr. says Booker T, one of the all-time greats to ever do it. So how can someone disrespect him when he opened up so many doors for others? That's what I'm wondering, man. Book, you don't have to say anything more.
You know what? I know I don't have to say anything, man, but I could. One thing I think about as far as the N-word thing, with Vince McMahon. What I think about is, man, and it has nothing to do with Vince McMahon or the N-word. What it has to do with is Jackie Robinson. I can only imagine what Jackie Robinson had to go through and the stuff that he had to take just for other blacks to get into the business, to open doors, for the next man. And and Jackie did it with class, man. He did it with class, bro. Every time I saw him, he had a suit on. He always represented, his family was tight, you know what I mean? And I think him being the guy that he was opened so many doors for so many people that's playing that game today.
You had a comment in the last show where you said people think that maybe racism stopped in 1990 when I got into the business, right? And I've been around you a lot, and your brother Stevie, who was right there with you, coming in, through the Western Wrestling Alliance, through Global into WCW. And I've heard the stories from both of y'all about the people in Dallas at first, things that they would say to y'all.
First day.
Things that they would say, the crazy racial epithets that they would say, and the things that they would say. And y'all went out there, y'all worked so hard that those same people were bringing Ebony Experience signs and wearing shirts. Yeah. I'm not saying that y'all excuse that behavior, but you rose above it. You rose above it when you could have easily gone the other way, started a riot, and never had a moment in this business. Now, I cannot tell from your experience. I can't speak your experience for you. I've lived as a white guy for 31 years, so I can't even imagine, right? I can't even imagine. But to me, everybody, black, white, Asian, indifferent, who's walked through the doors at reality wrestling, we all carry ourselves a certain way and we all move a certain way because attitude reflects leadership. And the way that you've led this organization for as long as I've been a part of it, which is now going on 13 years, believe it or not, and it's been around 20 years, we've all looked to you of how you carry yourself. And so for anybody to say that you don't stand on 10 and on business and speak, the thing is, Book, and they don't need to know. They don't need to know. They don't need to know the times that you've stood up for people and you've called in and you put your name on the line and called in favors and asked the company to do this, that, or the other, or told certain people, no, I'm not doing that. Because you're a man of integrity and respect. And I also know anything you've ever said to somebody or about somebody on this show, you've had that conversation with them in person. If you're willing to say something about somebody or criticize them, you're willing to give them that same feedback in person. And through all the controversies at times that sometimes this show has caused, some of your statements, you had a conversation with every single person afterward.
I think so.
And every single time, I know it, every single time you say, here's my number. If there's anything I can do to help out, let me know. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know. I'm here. I want you to use me as a resource. Let me help you navigate this game. And there's a laundry list of guys and girls who would stand up and advocate for that. But to me, that's why the disrespect is just so out of pocket. It's just out of pocket.
Look here, man.
What
how many times I've said, what has Roger Federer ever done? That's what. Can you hear a young tennis player saying that?
But but also, God. I mean, come on, man. It doesn't even matter. It really doesn't matter at this point. I'm just going to be spinning my wheels.
Keep rolling. I got to get out of here. Keep rolling.
I know. Okay. Let me keep it going. This one comes from California. I'm feeling bad for KO. Well wishes. Now, what does Randy Orton do? Aleister Black get a WrestleMania return? That'd be a great. A lot of people are saying that. I don't know where this is coming from. I would love it.
I say give Aleister the nod. You know what I mean? Put him in the game.
I love it.
It's totally unexpected. unexpected entry at WrestleMania against Randy Orton, the legend killer. Nah, man, I think that would be a great matchup. Something totally off the cuff. We don't need no storyline for a match like that.
No, just let it go.
Just
Let it go, man.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah.
This one comes from but by the way, also Alistair, like, don't even have a build up for it. Like, let it be a secret, right? The whole way up to
Just
it.
broke the secret. It's already out there now.
Well, I don't know if it's actually going to happen. Mike Woodson, you guys got to redo the Blue Chew commercial and put Val Venus entrance music in the background. Jim Johnson was killing those saxophones. That Val Venus music did go hard.
It did go hard. I like that music.
Pause. But yeah, like, no pun intended. But it was great. Hello, ladies.
Yeah.
What's Val up to these days? Have you run into Sean Morley?
He's got a cannabis shop in Canada.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, he is Canadian, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good for him. They're about to be the 51st state, so I don't know why that makes me laugh. Because it's ridiculous. D'Angelo Brown says, once again, Carmella was on her media tour, and she was a guest on the Tamron Hall show, blaming WWE for not renewing her contract because she was having a baby. I did see this. I saw her on Tamron Hall, and that is what she said. I can't, I'll be honest with you, Book. I haven't looked intimately into this and the timing of it. But look here, man. People are allowed. Look, hold on now. Before we start a whole new thing, let's just get through the show. It's been a week. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right.
But I will say, Carmella had a very long run in the company. You know, I hate that that's the way that, you know, I don't know if it had to do with her being pregnant or not, or what happened. I got to watch the Tamron Hall interview to know exactly what she was saying. Because when I watched the clip I saw on Twitter, I didn't hear her blaming anybody. I think she was speculating.
Yeah.
Would be a better way to put it.
You know, look, I'm going to keep the same answer I had last time. I think Carmella's very talented. I think she can do whatever she want to do, you know, if she want to do it.
I like that. Look at that, Book. In music. Looking forward to seeing you and Brad next week. First Norris, now Swerve. Norris. Oh, okay. They can't keep your name out of their mouth. You handle it like a man. I lost respect for Swerve for what he did last night. Well, you know.
Hey, man, you know.
So did I.
Like I say, I tell you what, I know I woke up trending this morning. I know Tony Khan pissed off because of that.
I love that everybody, because like Swerve loses the match last night, right, to John Moxley. And I love everybody in the comments. It was like, you're mad at the wrong booker. How you go out? Never mind. Let me not, because I'm about to get on my pedestal.
Yeah.
And I want to really say some things, but let me keep it respectful. Adam Kahn says, Team Booker. I appreciate you.
You don't mess with my little privates, man.
Yeah, man.
Denisha Lane says, have you seen the new Sexy Red video with Bruno Mars?
What?
She did her job on that video. It got a lot of views online. Booker T, you're a legend.
A lot of twerking.
Probably.
I'm sure it had a lot of twerking, man. Sexy Red, man. She's a, you know, one of the, like the #1 twerkers in the country, you know.
Well, before you watch the video, make sure you take your blood pressure meds. Man-Child Jones. Why all NXT call-ups besides Mello holding gold? So let's see. Braun.
Bro, look here.
Holding gold.
It's a pecking order, man. It's a pecking order. You got to freaking look. I'm not going to even get off into it, but I'm going to tell you right now. Carmelo got all the talent to actually break through that glass ceiling. All he needs to do is just keep doing what he's doing and not get complacent, man. Not get complacent. Start reading the press clippings, you know, as far as our Twitter, you know, saying, you know, you should this or you should that. Dude got talent, and trust me, I feel like you know, that's going to take him wherever he needs to go.
I agree. Mello is money. I've always been a big Carmelo Hayes fan, and to me, sometimes, you know, it's just the time.
It's growing pains too, man. I mean, it really is. It's maturity. It's learning you got to figure out how to put yourself in the game. That's what I say. Take it. That's what I mean. You got to figure out how to get eyes on you. And what do I say, man? Television time. Television time.
Gold, baby.
It's worth its weight in gold. It really is if you know how to utilize
Yeah, Melo don't miss. I'm a big fan of Carmelo Hayes. Derek Fleming Jr. from one brother to another. I hope y'all squash it.
Look here, bro. Look here, Derek. It's squashed on my end. All right? I'm going to tell you that right now. It's squashed. Hey, I tried to help. That's all I was doing. I was trying to, peak game more than anything. And I don't even have to, I'm not going to even elaborate on what I was talking about. But, that's another story.
Yeah. Michael, I'm not going to read the last name. Booker, we rock with you. The business does too. And then he goes on to say the whole point is respecting those who came before you.
I mean, you get respect when you give it to, though. You just can't respect someone just because they came before you.
What have you always said?
What's that?
You got to respect the young people too.
That was my slogan. That's my slogan, man. You got to respect the young people because we're in a different era now. We're in a different stage, and the young people, they are the future, man. The young people are going to be running the country. The young people who we're going to have to rely on. I know I'm waiting on my kids to take care of me. Trust me. So, man, that's my slogan. Respect the young people, and I really believe that.
And then here's our final one of the day. Miles Angel says, appreciate everything you've done for the business, for real. Wish I was older to have witnessed you wrestling back then. It's inspiring to see someone else from the inner city make it. Much love from the Bay Area to you, real OG.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. I'm just glad I'm still here. I'm glad I'm still doing it. You know what I mean? I'm glad I'm still in the game, representing, still opening doors, peeping game to, I was just looking at Trick Williams doing an interview, and he was talking about, how him and I get in the war room, start going through, strategies, whatnot. Not just, the slogan, not just, the ad libs or anything like that, but it's about real business as far as this young man making it to the next level. And when he get there, he knock it clean up out the park, man. That's what I'm talking about. But I want to thank y'all, man. I want to thank everybody for sticking around in the Hall of Fame today, getting champagne, which is Caviar Drink. All you super chatters, man. I appreciate you guys, man. The show appreciate you guys. Brad, for all the heavy lifting as always. And until next time, Swerve, peace. We love you, and we out.